What's up, you guys? Today is February the 10th, 2024. Welcome to my workout. This is my actual workout, and so nothing I'm doing here I necessarily recommend. I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing and why I do it, but it is not necessarily the correct way of doing things. It's just the way I do things. So please view with discretion. I'm not going to dumb this down for you. I actually, especially for today, it's really important that I give you an honest portrayal of how I approach exercises that for me are difficult and what I have to do in order to just work myself up to whatever weight I end up with. It's quite a process. And I think it's a good time for me to make a video like this because I just announced that I'm going to be starting BCP 157 and TB 500 peptide therapy. I'm working with Merrick Health. I'm in a partnership with them. Just want to be just full disclosure. I am in a partnership with them, but they're not paying me, and I'm receiving no monetary compensation from them in exchange for the medical labs, the medical supervision, the counseling, as well as some of the compounds I'll be using. In exchange for that, I will be posting and reporting and documenting the whole process on my social media platforms. That's it. Okay, so they're not paying me for this, but they're providing me what I feel is a lot of value, and I hope going forward, I hope to be pretty stoked. And but regardless, I will be sharing that with you. So today is, I'm literally a little nervous because I'm going to have to show a lot of stuff that doesn't show up most on my Instagram. I'm going to show you all of the things that are wrong with me. And one of the best ways for me to reveal that is with a good old-fashioned barbell squat. I just realized I haven't squatted with a barbell since September of last year. So what was that, 5 months? Something like that. And there's a reason for that. Just my shoulders, just getting my shoulders in the past, you know, just kind of getting the bar on me and getting my hands spaced this way and getting my elbows underneath, that was no problem, but I guess things have changed, and my shoulder mobility now right here, this is not comfortable for me. It used to be just no problem, but this for me is a mobility exercise, just unracking this bar. Okay, so I'm gonna rack that up again. So I'm going to show you, I don't know how far I'm going to get, how heavy I'm going to go. For me, the goal is not to lift the heaviest weight I can for the sake of a heavy weight. It's to lift the most weight that I can while still maintaining a certain breathing cadence and a movement cohesion that is as close to a perfect repetition as I can perform, okay? So that's, for me at my age, that keeps me in, or more or less injury-free, or prevents me from exacerbating some of the conditions I already have, and in general, it allows me to recover enough so that I can come back and do this again and practice a different skill tomorrow, say. Okay, so enough talking, I'm gonna just jump right in. First thing, I'm squatting by myself. A lot of, this has been a big thing on social media, is, you know, squatting and bench pressing without safety precautions in place. So I do have my pins set here and here. In case something goes wrong, I can ditch the weight right here. Just to show you how I've set them. Okay, so I'm going to be using 2 squat positions. Oh shit, I'll go over that later. Here's how I set the pins. I'm a little nervous, so I'm going to be all over the place for a little bit. So this is my maximum squat right here. And the pins are just a little below that. So if for some reason I get overwhelmed, I can just leave them there, okay? So that's it. Now, right there, I could have just scooped under and lifted the bar up, but since I dropped my shoulders, I didn't have the shoulder mobility to get back under the bar, so I'm gonna have to put it up like this. I know, it's kind of embarrassing, but I'm gonna embarrass myself a lot today because I'm hoping in the coming weeks that between some of the lifestyle changes I make and the peptide therapies, that this is gonna change a lot. That'll be fun to see, all right? So today, I'm just gonna lay it all out and embarrass myself. Okay, so I'm gonna warm up here and empty bar. That's plenty of warm up for me because like I said, I first need to get my shoulders and my wrists, especially my left wrist. You might notice I have extension in both my wrists because between my lack of mobility in the shoulders and my wrist issues, this is the only way I can hold on to the bar. I'm also trying to crank my elbows under. I'm externally rotating the shoulders and engaging my lats. Okay, from the upright position, I'm gonna put a slight bend in my knees. If my hips and my rib cage, or my pelvis and my rib cage are two cups, I want the edges of those cups facing each other before I tilt them both. From this position, I'm gonna pry my thighs out to the side, and I wanna slide those two cups back as far as I can go. Right now, my knees are very creaky, okay? On that first rep, the right side of the bar touched down to the rack, so I was tilted. And so I'm just warming up, stretching with this. And this literally is the appropriate weight for me to stretch with because my knees and everything, starting to smooth out a little bit. Okay. Whew. That was only 45 pounds, but oh, my lower back, everything's just waking up right now. So I was up a little late last night with my wife watching Griselda on Netflix. It's a pretty gripping show, but I shouldn't have stayed up so late. Okay. I'm just putting 10 pounds on the bar. I'm not gonna collar the bar because if I need to ditch, it sometimes can be helpful to have the bars just slide right off and go out my window there. Okay. Here we go. Okay, the posture I always start with, especially on the barbell squat, is double X posture. Extended spine, expanded rib cage. I'm also trying to just crank my elbows. I'm externally rotating the shoulders, trying to get my elbows under the bar as best as I can, but without overextending in the spine. All right, my pelvis and my rib cage, I'm trying to get them to face each other like the edges of two cups with a slight bend in my knees and prying my thighs outwards as I tilt those two cups. Take a big first breath, let some of it out. Take a second breath, all the way down. One more time. Okay. All right. Whoa, my shoulders, they don't like that. You know, a lot of very kind people leave me very nice comments. And I take from these comments that sometimes they think for my age that I have some secrets or that I'm special in some way, and I'm certainly not. I have a saying that I'm just a guy, and I will be until the day I die. I'm just a normal guy. So before all of that glorious stuff that I post to my socials, if it can be called glorious, this is actually what it looks like a 65-pound barbell squat. Now me trying to decompress my back so I can go just a little heavier. Okay. Let's bring it up to 95 pounds now. On the breaks, I'll just try to chat with you. I don't normally talk at all on my workout, so this whole thing that I've been doing recently is kind of new. That's why I apologize, but it's not edited, and this is a very real depiction of just what I'm doing. I would do this if there was no electricity, no social media. I would still do this. So, but if I can share with you anything that's helpful, I'm certainly happy to do so. By the way, this funny little bump on my head, that's actually a microphone. I'm trying to provide better sound quality for you guys because you deserve it. Okay, 95 pounds. Here we go, one more time. If I could take more aggressive increases, I would, but once again, I have to assure that I can, that's not. I want to make sure that bar is placed symmetrically. And first I set my shoulder blades. I get them to feel as symmetrical as I can, and then I will adjust myself to on the bar to place the bar across the platform I've created with my traps and my shoulder blades, and hopefully it'll transfer the weight of this bar evenly through the spine. So once again, I'm going to extend my spine, I'm going to expand my chest and my lats. I'm dialing my elbows under without overextending my lower back. First breath. One more time. And on my warm-up sets, I don't do a lot of them. I try to make the duration and the time under tension of each rep equal to at least 2, maybe 3 more conventionally performed repetitions. I'm also feeling like I'm starting to touch down on the bar, on the pins here, and that's a little distracting, so I'm gonna bring them a little lower because I'm not doing pin squats today. Because it's been so long since I've squatted, I want to take full responsibility for the weight all the way down, all the way up. And we'll do pin squats some other day. Okay. By the way, well, I shouldn't apologize, but I know that these videos can get really long. This one is probably going to be stupidly long, and I totally understand if you just bail. If anyone knows either an AI or some kind of a affordable editing method I could apply to these videos so that you only get like the good parts, please let me know. I'm kind of a technological dinosaur, and yeah. Anyway, all right, here we go. Shut up and squat. All right. And just so you know what I'm feeling, I gotta make sure that my shoulders, especially in this case, my right shoulder is feeling good. I don't wanna compensate the weight over to one side just because I'm pain inhibited on the other side. Okay, that's feeling pretty solid. I'm right through the center. One more time. Okay. Oh. Okay, my shoulders. You know, sorry, I'm going to use the word shitty as it feels in my shoulders. I've learned that not subjecting them to this is way worse than doing this and other movements that they might not want to do, but if I let them have their way and just sat and rested and done that, they would just, I believe the body tries to trick, at least my body tries to trick me into getting old by making things that were once difficult now quite discouragingly hard. I believe that's a trick that life plays on, or bodies play on all people. Everything that used to be just sitting down and getting up, or standing on one leg in the hallway and pulling your underwear on without falling down, that all gets discouragingly difficult. And it's easy to fall into the trap of avoiding those things. And usually they become difficult because, at least for me, the joints start to not want to, like, instead of being able to lift my leg up this high, that kind of hurts now. And that's what makes previously easy things now challenging. The body gets stiff, and then if I try to force myself beyond that stiffness, I become pain inhibited. Like there's some kind of a sensation of not good that tries to trick me into not doing that anymore. So anyway, let me shut up and do one more set. This is 135 pounds. I know a lot of you guys, this is your warm-up weight, and for me it used to be as well, but things have changed. All right. Make sure this is set properly. Okay. All right. I also make sure that I have even weight distribution after I've double-X'd my posture. Pelvis and rib cage are facing each other. Okay. And that's it, believe it or not. That's the warm-up set with 135 pounds. It's not 6 or 8 or 10 reps. It's, for me, it's just one. I am not going to explain the breathing that I'm using right now because that would take too long. But I'll just state that the most important muscles in my body are the muscles that control my breathing. They are more important than my lats, my quads, my abs, even my neck and jaw. So any exercise I do is an excuse for me to practice breathing. It's not the opposite. I use breathing to support what I do on any given physical expenditure, but the focus is more on breathing properly than it is on using breathing to lift a heavy weight. Okay, anyway, let's go. 155. Oh, shoulders, fuck. All right. My feet under me. Okay. 1 rep. This breathing method, I call it double compression breathing. It's something I have to do because my reps take so long that if I don't do that, I run out of oxygen during the rep and at the bottom of it. And that activates a panic response, and then everything just goes to shit after that. So I also feel it's important to be able to take deep breaths while under physical duress. Be it, I'm not a surfer, but I have gotten crushed countless times in jiu-jitsu by not just big people, small people. It doesn't matter if there's somebody that's on top of you and they know what they're doing and they're bending you into shapes that make it hard for you to breathe in. If you haven't trained the muscles of inspiration or your breathing muscles to breathe under those conditions, then those conditions rapidly deteriorate. Okay, we're at 185. So I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This weight I consider, based on the way I currently feel right now, this is going to be challenging for me. All right, so we're in the realm of heavy for old Bill. Here we go, 185, 1 rep. Once again, I'm going to index this repetition with my breathing. Oh, come on, left wrist. Stop being a bitch. All right, here we go. And to get this bar off the rack, I am going to focus on expanding my chest. All right. I'm going to take a slightly wider base for my squat, in my squat right now. Here we go. Whew. Okay. All right. First, let me, shoulders. Okay. I have a bad left knee. Actually, both of my knees are pretty bad, but there's something in the lateral aspect of my left knee that just gets a little cranky. And this, if I'm being honest with you, I'm starting to feel that a little bit. And there are certain methods I use. This breathing, if it does one thing, when I say it indexes my movements, let me clarify what that means. I use the breathing to take whatever weight or force is being exerted upon me, and I use that breathing method as a means of spreading that force as evenly over my entire system as I can, so it doesn't funnel into certain compromised areas. That's about all I can say. All right. Ooh, 205. I don't even remember when the last time I squatted 205 was. All right. And yeah, this is just, I'm being honest with you, man. This is, for me right now, this is gonna be a little heavy. Once again, I don't care about going fast. I need to be able to control this weight with my breathing. Make sure that my platform is set. All right, here we go. Okay. Whew. I also use the double compression breathing on exercises like this, because if I just take a deep breath, what I used to do is I'd just take a deep breath at the top and I'd hold it all the way down and then start blowing some of it or all of it out on the way up. And that works extremely well. But sometimes the effect on my orthostatic or my blood pressure was so much that at the top I would be like almost ready to pass out. And I feel that basically taking 2 breaths during the repetition helps to mitigate that a lot. So, okay. I think the last time I squatted, well, the last few times I've squatted, I know I haven't gone beyond 225. And I might not go beyond that today because if I'm being honest, then I shouldn't be necessarily just adding weight so that I can make an impressive Instagram video, because honestly, who's impressed with this even if I add more, right? So I'm just gonna breathe with 225 pounds as best as I can, and we'll see if it's appropriate to add something after this. Ooh, all right. I'll bet every one of you can do better than that. But hey, I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys anymore. I'm like that with a lot of lifts. And this is all this preparation just for that. It's a process, yeah. So, okay, you know, I'd like to put, so I can impress you guys, I'd like to put on 10 more pounds, but, and like I said, who's really gonna be impressed with a 245-pound squat, right? I see guys behind the neck pressing that all day long, but important lesson, especially for me as an older athlete. I have learned that when I get to the heavier or kind of the top end weights for me, that adding smaller increments, obviously it makes sense, because I'm loading not for what I feel like my legs or the big muscles can handle. I'm loading for the smallest, I don't say the weakest, but the smallest link in my chain. And that could easily be overwhelmed by a 20-pound increase. So I want to accommodate that smallest link or be fair to it and just add 10 pounds. And if I get this, it'll be a PR since I started or restarted squatting after coming back to this gym from being locked down. All right, here we go. shoulders. Bitchy. Whew. Shaking on that. All right, shoulders, come on, shoulders. Whew. Tuck that tailbone under. I posterior tilt my pelvis as I lean on the bar. It reverses the direction of my lumbar, helps me to decompress. Because despite my best efforts, I'm assuming anybody, when they go to their max heavy squat, that there's going to be some amount of anterior tilt with extension in the lower back. But that's just part of the game. Okay. All right, I am going to, this will most likely be the heaviest and possibly the final set, working set. I'm gonna breathe, oops. Don't wanna do that. Let's make sure that you, talking too much. I'm into asymmetrical lifting, but not when I have an asymmetrical seesaw using my spine as the fulcrum. Okay. Double check. I have a little bit of a short attention span. So, all right, we're good. By the way, if you're still watching this, you rule. Thank you so much. All right. I haven't squatted anything over 225 in a long time. Hope I don't regret it. Okay. Oh, come on, Bill, don't think like that. Here we go. All right, so, okay. I'm sure you noticed there was a little pause about halfway up. My left knee was looking for a different way around that. So I had to stop. And I'm I really try hard not to compensate left to right, but I had to figure out a different way to divert the force that was entering my knee from this point up without having to do things with my posture that I know I shouldn't do. All right, I think that's as heavy as I'm going to go for today. Like I said, this is not going to be the most fun video to watch, but I'm hoping that you can see that for everyone's different at age 55, but this is how I roll at 55. This is what it takes for me just to do one rep in a 245-pound squat. And I hope it's good that, or I think it's good that you see the truth and the behind the scenes of, what it's like, at least just for me at my age, to do something like this. And I also realized that I hide from this lift. This is one of the best lifts in the world. I built my foundation on the barbell squat, much more than on the deadlift. I like deadlifts, but I just felt, I have this feeling that the more of my body I place between the weight I'm lifting and the earth I'm standing on, the more anything in between those 2 points is working hard. And I know, yeah, some people will say, hey, a deadlift is basically still attaching to you through the shoulders, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I kind of like the danger of being trapped between that, having that weight up here. And I gotta do things right. If I screw up on a deadlift, I can just let go. But if I mess up here, it's gonna be good to have these things, right? Okay. I'm just gonna do a light set to cool down, and then we're gonna start the weekend. Okay, oh God, shoulders. By the way, I stopped doing barbell squats in March of 2020 when Hawaii went on lockdown. And I started my social media thing then out in my yard, and I never returned to these. I never returned to them for years, and I didn't realize how much. I never regarded the barbell squat as a mobility exercise, not just for my shoulders, but for how also it strengthened my mid-spine, which has a lot to do with how my shoulder mobility is. And yeah, anyway, this is a foundational lift, regardless of your age, especially when you're young. To me, this is the king. And I have to return to it a little bit more, and yeah, and stop being I'm not gonna say that word, but I'm gonna have to, yeah, I gotta man up and start doing this a little bit more. Anyway, shit. That's it. You guys, today is Saturday, so you guys have a great weekend. And really, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you enjoyed watching this more than middle-aged guy struggle with weights that I'm sure some of you can curl. Anyway, love you guys. Take care.